we're going to do in this short video is derive the formula for an ellipse. So remember, on an ellipse we have A, we have B. Okay, so here's my ellipse. Okay, remember this is C. Okay. Also remember that we talked about the distances. So, for example, remember the total distance across the two axes is 2a, and if this is A, this is C, this is B, and we know that A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared. Okay? All right, now remember we had a point on the ellipse. So here was a general point on the ellipse. And remember the distance here and here, the sum of the distances is that constant 2a. So remember, this blue distance is d1. This blue distance right here is d2. Also remember that the general ordered pair is x comma y. And this point right here looks like c comma 0. And this point here, negative c comma 0. So let's see if we could derive the formula. When we say the formula, we're looking for something that looks like this. X squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. Okay, all right, so let's get started with that. Let's see, d1 plus d2 is equal to 2a. d1 is this distance right here from this point to that. We could use the distance formula. Remember the distance formula? So it's going to be x plus c, because it's minus c, x plus c squared plus y minus 0 squared plus the other distance, which is x minus c squared plus y minus 0 squared is equal to 2a. Okay, now what we're going to have to do is going to have to isolate a radical from our previous learning. So we're going to move this radical over here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply this out inside. It's x squared plus 2cx plus c squared plus y squared. Okay, and we're going to move this over to the other side, which is 2a minus radical. And what's going to happen here? We're going to have, what would that be? X squared minus 2cx plus c squared plus y squared. Okay, now remember, working with radicals, you have to square both sides. So we're going to square this side, okay? Then we're going to square these two sides right here. All right, when I do the left side, I get, very easily, I get x squared plus 2cx plus c squared plus y squared is equal to, now you got to remember, this is a binomial squared. So this goes back to the first week of class. I gave you a shortcut. Square this. So that's 4a squared. Multiply these two and double. If you multiply those two and double, you get minus 4a radical blah. Okay. Okay, and then we have to square the last, which you just get rid of the radical. It's x squared minus 2cx plus c squared plus y squared. Okay, now when we do that, we got to look at both sides and see if anything drops out. We have an x squared that drops out. We have a c squared that drops out. We have a y squared that drops out. Okay? Now, we can move this negative 2cx to the left side, okay? And we're going to move this to the left side as well. So what are we going to get? We're going to get 4 cx minus 4a squared equals negative 4a times all the stuff in here. Okay, we're going to divide everybody by 4 to make life easier. So here I have cx minus a squared is equal to negative a times x squared minus 2cx plus c squared plus y squared. Okay, now when we square both sides, we're going to get c squared x squared minus 2a squared cx plus a to the fourth. Now remember what's going to happen over here. We're going to square both of these items. This will become a squared, and then this squared radical goes away. So what am I going to have? I'm going to have a squared times x squared, a squared x squared minus 2ac plus, it's a squared c, plus a squared c squared plus a squared y squared. Okay, now if we look real carefully, okay, I forgot to put this cx here, so these two guys go away, okay, and now we just got to rearrange the terms. Okay, so what I did is I rearranged some terms. I let this a squared here, I moved this a squared c squared to the left, I left this a squared x squared here. I moved this term over here to the right and then just dropped that term down. Now notice I factored a squared x squared out of that. Okay, so I got a squared minus c squared. And here in these two terms I factored out the x squared, so I have a squared minus c squared, and then I just dropped that down. Now if we go back up here to the top, a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared. So a squared minus c squared would equal b squared. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is wherever I see a squared minus c squared, I could plug in b squared. So I did that right here, and I did that right here. Now if we just divide both sides by a squared b squared by a squared b squared, okay, what happens? Well, what happens is these guys go away, these guys go away. I have 1. Okay, the b squareds go away, so I have x squared over a squared plus, and then the a squareds go away, and I have y squared over b squared. Let me rewrite that. I have x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared is equal to 1, which is what I was looking for over here at the beginning. Hope that makes sense.